look straight down the advantages.
How are the predators reading the vision? Coming in, there was mass EPA.
Indian
nuclear deal, case.
Okay.
On the first uniqueness card, first extend that the courts will rule on Massachusetts versus EPA right now, and second, the court will rule for the states of Coley in June 27, 2006. Lawyers for the plaintiffs already believe that the lower court's decision to already be right and overturn the case because the Clean Air Act required the EPA administrator to set standards on limiting the air pollution from the vehicles that could jeopardize the public health or welfare. Another section would act specifically and cites the impacts of the climate as something that can bring about the federal regulation. And on the second card, she says on the implications card, that card just goes our way, that it has implications. Yes, we'll agree on that point. Second of all, she group our following cards that say that the court's ruling will actually cause people to petition and go for more rights. They read no card that says that this will actually their petitioning will actually solve for global warming, will actually get Congress to do anything about it. And also remember that we're the only ones reading cards that says that this ruling is key to check warming. Extend that card out of the block. And also she says that this case is not about global warming, but is about language. The ruling is critical for the state action with the greenhouse emissions. No, September 2006. So it would be very difficult for those who authority that comes from the Clean Air Act to say that they have the authority to regulate greenhouse gases if EPA does not. And also cross-apply our card that says that, once again, cross-apply the card that says this is key to check warming. Even if the specific technicalities of the case are talking about the language, it's still going to cause these regulations to occur because that's what the case is also talking about. And when this happens, it is key to checking checking the greenhouse emissions, which leads to extinction. Now she says that the impact doesn't outweigh the case. First of all, this is going to be their rights advantage is going to be sucked up by the counterclaim anyways. And even if that's not true, deontology and fails in the policymaking framework category and imperatives are incompatible with the practice within the framework of politics. Solo 197. A modern realist philosophy that cannot fail to point out the universalism of ethical deontology in both as regards to system of the foundation. It also becomes unsuited because it's sensibly experienced outside the bounds of the specific system, namely the ethics, religion experience, and the personal interactions. Loyalty abide by the agreement is the category of imperatives that may well provide the motive force behind the moral heroism and the level of personal interactions. The unrealistic character of the categorical ethics clash with the particular and the political partial nature of the criteria of the exclusion of hierarchical subordination with the protective function of the political order is founded. And also, deontology is used as an excuse for poor moral decisions by alleviating the agents of responsibility for the decisions. Good intentions can still result in worse situations. Baltic in 94. Consequentialism does not look at the sacrifice of responsibility, the utilitarian, but much is concerned without the utility maximization. As any good consequentialist is personally responsible for how he evaluates each particular situation. If through a misevaluation of the situation performs action that produces a very bad state of affairs, he cannot say I was just following orders. The deontologist may insist that the rule of thumb of the utilitarian can always say, oh well, I was trying to do my best, but the deontologist who produces the bad state of affairs can clearly say the same thing. In fact, he will always be the ability to shrug off the negative consequences as long as when the motives or intentions were really impure, it seemed luxurious and commonly associated with deontological ethics. It would seem that the deontological ethics that frees one from personal responsibility, not from consequentialist ethics. And India deal. On the India deal, they make a serious mistake by only reading two non-uniques. This, first of all, I'd like you to extend the Mohan evidence that the India deal will be brought up in the lame duck session will pass because of a strong bipartisan environment. The problem with the lame duck session is not that two other bills have priority over the India bill, including the Vietnam trade bill and the appropriation bill. Bipartisanship is critical to get all of these three things done. If one of the issues gets India drawn out because of the partisan bickering, it will prevent the bill from being debated on the lame duck session. And India deal is a high priority now. Indo-Asian news from service from 2006. The Bush administration has made the India deal one of its top legislative priorities for the lame duck section and said that it would try to have New Delhi's concern as the Congress is addressed to the conference. I ran one out on such sticky point. And the India deal will pass now. India Asian service to November 28, 2006. We'd hope that they would encourage Congress not to make the change of the legislation would marginally affect our ability to implement the agreement. The State Department spokesman, Sean McCormick, told reporters, he said that the state of Condoleezza Rice would make 20 phone calls for the up to Capitol Hill to New Delhi's concerns over the enabling legislation and addressing the conference of the House and the Senate representation to reconcile the versions passed by the two chambers, but it's our top priority that will hopefully get passed in the lame duck session of the legislature, resuming December 4th after a 2-week break, and India deal will pass Hindustan times 2006. Washington is confident that the congressional version over India, the U.S. bill, will be passed and be acceptable to both India and the U.S. The State Department member and 3 Nicholas Burns in New York City on Monday. He asked Hindustan Times whether this meant that the bill would be incorporate India demands and will have access to the nuclear representing enrichment of the video. Burns said that the Senate, the full version passed by the bill of the framework, and George Bush had signed the agreement of July last year. And House Senate compromise India deal bill will be approved. Dow Jones, November 27, 2006. The U.S. Senate of the House will pass different versions of the bill with significant majorities that are now working together to produce the final document that will be published next week. We are very confident that this will emerge with the bill in the United States government and the Indian government. Now on the link level, extend the Katzman evidence that continues to Supreme Court decisions like the plan arouse partisanship as each side tries to distance themselves from the ruling and blames the other side, and also extend the Guha evidence that the bill must pass in the lame duck session. If it fails, then they will take over, and the committees will be a majority, and the deal will have to be redrawn from scratch. Our evidence indicates that the Democrats are greatly influenced by the non-proliferation lobby, which we re-energize to crush the bill if it gets going to be restructured. And extending India Today evidence, the bill is the centerpiece for U.S.-India relations. Now that it has been promised by it is too late to take back the impact of the New York Times evidence. The strong U.S.-India relations prevent war and prevent Pakistan and terrorism. Additionally, nuclear war between India and Pakistan is the biggest and most probable scenario for war by 2001. The most dangerous place on the planet is Kashmir, disputed territory, the sandwich between the nuclear-capable India and Pakistan. It has ignited 2 wars between the eastern and South Asian rivals, and a third could trigger the war that results in nuclear war threatening the entire globe. The United States would enjoy no sanctuary. This possible division has no isotronic view. And also, if they're going to cross-apply their evidence here once again that's saying that the rights impact outweighs. Nuclear war impacts must converse the potential to destroy humanity as unlike any other impact shell to 1982. This number of 20,000 megatons of nuclear explosive and power existence must be added to every day. We enter the zone of uncertainty, which is, as they say, the zone of extinction. But there is a mere risk of extinction that has a significance that is categorically different from and measured from than any other risk. And we must make our decisions. We have to take this significance into account. Up to now, the risk has been trained by the frame of life. Extinction will be shattered that time frame. It represents a defeat of some purpose to by abyss, which all human purposes will be drowned for all time. We have no right to place the possibilities of this limitless, eternal defeat on the same footing and risk as we run into ordinary conduct in our affairs and particularly transient moment of human history. To employ a mathematical analogy, we say that although the risk of extinction may be fractional, the stake is, humanly speaking, infinite, and a fraction of infinity is still infinity. Now, moving on to case. First off, she says that we don't use military tribunals. What we're saying is that if you have to put them in through public tribunals, that this is actually going to be worse. So cross-apply our card and extend our card there. And also, the commissions are necessary to prevent security breaches. Washington Post, 2005. The Justice Department argued that if the commissions are not allowed to go forward, the security branches could result in the war and terrorism could be slowed. And military tribunals are essential to fighting terror. The Washington Post, 2004. The sheer number of foreign detainees are accessible in trying the number of American courts to spend the number of intelligence information that makes some of the military tribunals essential in the component of a global anti-terrorism strategy. And also, she said extend the Gerwith card outweighs. Just cross-apply my two deontology fails, and that you have to look towards the consequences first. And also, she says that readiness onto our readiness argument. She says that deference outweighs and is more probable. This doesn't answer our cards or our scenario for a nuclear war cross-apply. Once again, that my morality cards here that answers that back, and she still hasn't answered our card back. And she says we ignore the violent nature of politics. On the SOE argument, lost my flow.
On the EPA debate, the deontology part of the drawdown, is it basically like you're arguing for a paradigm for evaluating around like a util framework over sort of the rights implications?
Well, no, I'm saying you have to look at the rights and in the relation to what happens to those lives. So in relation to also looking at the rights, you have to look at the impact and consequences as well. I'm not saying that you ignore rights around.
Okay, but it's just we can't on face look to that as like the most important thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that world, how would you suggest weighing them against the nuclear war? Is that the card on politics about how nuclear war impacts them first?
Yeah, I read that card and I would weigh those and which means that we can weigh our nuclear war scenarios even if we don't go for the counterplan, which would suck up your rights advantage anyways.
Back on EPA,
Mm-hmm.
can you just, I don't know, can you explain how the counterplan captures the race advantage? How you
Wait, EPA or the counterplan? How the counterplan captures?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's an argument that you make, so I don't know.
How the counterplan captures the EPA disadvantage?
The race
As a net-
advantage. Well, I guess, I don't know. Okay, well, we can go there. How does the counterplan avoid the link to any of these? Really?
Well, distinguishing isn't as in public as overruling is.
The
and-
links all come from overruling.
Right.
The links are all derived from overruling.
Well, the link on EPA is contentious issues.
Yeah, and the card actually talks about overruling a case and how when the court is not perceived as having legitimacy, then that's a contentious issue. It talks about
Still-
overruling in the card.
The way in which we distinguish still reserves a substantial amount of power, especially presidential power, which is something that really doesn't get infringed upon ever. So we less controversial.
Okay.
Don't overrule.
On politics, you just this again the contentious decisions link. What exactly is in the card? Does it say overruling means a decision, or is it just decision?
You mean my shell? I don't know. I don't have the shell.
I think it makes it contentious
I mean,
decisions
I can.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I can give that card to you. if you want,
That's
so.
The answer?
Yeah.
Do you have the non-media cards you read on politics at all?